Don't make decisions out of fear. It's very easy to let your fears be the guide in the decisions that you make. So one thing you have to realize about fear is that more often than not, especially in our society today, fear is more imagined than it is real. So let's give a good example. If you're afraid of flying in an airplane, of course there is reason to be afraid of that. But 999,000 times out of 100,000, you're going to get on the plane, you're going to fly where you're going, you're going to land safely, and you're going to be just fine. So if the chance of you being injured in an airplane accident is so short or so small, why do people fear flying, as I do myself? And a lot of the fear of, in this case, flying, fear is created from something that is inside of you. So one way that you have to learn to deal with fear is that you have to examine yourself. Why are you afraid of it? What is standing between you and a rational way of looking at how you are afraid of something? So if you're afraid of anything, you're afraid of a life-changing decision, starting a family, you're afraid of growing old by yourself, try and break down that fear into what it actually means. So I had certain fears, but now I'm 44, so I would say that when I was 22, I had a fear of not reaching my true capabilities or not reaching my max potential. And it was something that kind of ruled my decision making. I have to go to this school. I must major in this. I must make this decision, because I was afraid that I wouldn't reach my potential. One of the ways that I overcame this, and this is what I would tell my 22-year-old self, is I said, okay, you're afraid of not reaching your max potential. Why? And then many other reasons that I was afraid of that had to do with factors outside of myself. And when I had a chance to really think about why am I afraid that X might happen, almost all of those answers led to things about how people would feel about me. What would people think about me? How would I be perceived? So when I came to understand that, it was very easy for me to make the decision to come to Japan, which is what I chose to do. And that is a decision that I made almost 20 years ago. Of course, it wasn't a decision met with applause from the people around me, but for me, looking at my situation and my dreams and things that I was considering for my life, it made sense once I got over the fear that there is a certain path that I must take to success. So, talking to my younger self, don't listen to irrational fear. Fear is irrational, and it is a very short-term motivator. I'm afraid that I'm going to fail, so I'm going to study very hard. Okay, you'll study very hard for 2 or 3 days, and then you'll go back to normal. Fear doesn't listen to facts. It doesn't. So again, because it's irrational, you're going to see fear, and you're going to think, if this happens, my life is over. If I do this, no one will care about me anymore. If I do this, I'm worthless. One of the things about life is, especially considering that we have this daily gift of being able to wake up every day. Every day that we get to wake up and function is a gift. So all of the mistakes that you or I have made previous until now, they don't matter in that I was able to get up this morning and make a whole new set of decisions for myself. So you can always be afraid of the mistake. And I think that is where most fear originates. I'm afraid of making the mistake. But consider this idea. What if you stop being afraid of the mistake? Stop being afraid of it. If you change the way that you look at the mistakes and you simply see them as opportunities to grow, that means that the next mistake you make will be on a higher level than the mistake you made before it. That's why fear is not a good motivator. Fear does not allow you to start the learning cycle. The learning cycle. I fail, I try harder, I fail again. But the second failure is not the same failure as the first one. And that 10th failure is not the same as the 9th one. But you have to get over the fear. You have to get over the fear of the first failure. What people will think about you. How will you feel about yourself? Because if you do that, you will be stuck in the same place that you are 1 day from now, a week from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, the rest of your life. You will be trapped in that jail cell that is your brain because of fear. So let me tell you what happens when you stop being afraid. And I believe Will Smith said this. He said that the best things in life are on the other side of fear. If you have the courage to try and cross over that mountain of fear, on the other side of that mountain is a new life. And that is the beauty of human existence, is that each day that you wake up, each time that you try something new and fail, you wake up and try something new and learn a new lesson. You have the opportunity to reinvent yourself. You can create a new life for yourself. So I say that to say this. Fear is something that we manage. It is not something that controls us. If you can manage your fear, you can control your fear, you can look at fear more rationally and not emotionally. Emotionally looking at fear is going to imprison you. You rationally look at fear. Spiders are scary. Okay, I'm not going to stick my hand into a swarm of spiders. Okay, but I'm also not going to jump up and down when there's a small spider walking across the sidewalk. So rational fear, I run away from every spider that I see. Rational fear, oh, I looked on the internet, this is not a scary spider, or this is not a dangerous spider. This is just a regular spider that's crossing the street trying to find something to eat, okay? And that goes for anything that you're doing in your life. Identify what is the root of that fear. Look at the fear. Why are you afraid of that thing? And break it down logically. Once you break it down logically, then you could tell yourself, okay, I'm afraid of this because something happened when I was younger, or because I watched this movie. And sometimes it's very easy to say, you know what? Why am I afraid of that? And when you can ask yourself that question, that is the first question that starts you changing your life. Overcoming fear is one of the most important lessons that we can all learn in our lives. Fear is a mental wall. And once you learn how to look at that wall as a mental wall, you will see through it like Superman. So that's what I want to tell my younger 22-year-old self about fear. Fear is imagined. It is a construct inside of you. It is not logical. It exists based on the knowledge that we have and the experiences that we've had up until that time that we're making our decisions. Look at fear logically, break it down, be logical about how you deal with your fear, and then make your decision. unapologetically, I'm going to do this. I'm not afraid of that anymore. And jump both feet into the lake. And if you jump into the lake and you break your leg, you climb out and say, I learned a lesson here. I'm going to heal my leg. I'm going to learn from my mistake. I'm going to make a better decision next time. And then the second time that I jump into the lake, I'm going to do it with more education than the first time. Don't be afraid of fear. Don't let fear make decisions for you. And that's all I have to say about this one. Until next time, YouTube, take care.